Good day for flying.
That it is.
There was a lot of activity tonight.
Yeah, a little bit.
I spoke too soon.
We go.
Oh no, he's back.
Technology grant.
Can't live with it, can't live without it.
Good, I'm sure.
I think so.
Richard and Alexandria are at the hospital being induced to have a grandbaby. So
Cool.
if you all see me jump,
Well, we'll believe in the tolerated squeeze. So where they live?
Vanderbilt, Nashville downtown.
Yeah.
They gonna let you in the building?
Mm-mm.
That's my last one.
Just him, Richard and Alexandria. That's all that's able to go in. So
Is it a boy or a girl?
it's a girl.
I had a friend of mine over the weekend, the night he was going to have his diaper party. Water broke.
Off we go.
Off we go. So
Well, Daddy was 3.5 weeks early, so I kept saying all along, "Oh, she's going to be early. She's going to be early." But she's 2 days after her due date, so she's ready to.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably they want to.
It's 5 o'clock on the dot. Let's get this thing going. I know Mark said that he was going to be tied up at work. He tried to make it, but probably won't. So we'll go ahead and start this thing on time since everybody else is here. We can let the minutes reflect everyone here, and we do have a quorum. It's number one off the list, and number two, we need officers. So I think we'll start at the top and open up the floor for nominations for chairman.
Since you played the role so well, I'm going to nominate you as the chairman for this next
I would
group.
second that. Craig's got to be probably longer than any of us. I don't know if he wants to hear that. I may not be ready for a second, but
No. Well, no other nominations, and we got a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. I will do the best that I can to keep this thing rolling. Open up the floor for co-chairman. And since I've been nominated by Miss Bay, I'm gonna come back. Let's go, chairman.
I'll second that.
Okay, no other nominations. We got a second by Mr. Jewell. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? All right, it carries.
Moving on.
Moving on up. Secretary. In the past, Mary Dale has helped us with the responsibility of handling some of the responsibilities of being secretary. So Mary Dale, we still in favor on that one?
I think that was the formal officer spot there, which I was feeling like that one.
Right. So she's willing to help. You willing to help us on that one again?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'll open up the floor for nominations for
I'll
secretary.
nominate Mary Dale Welch.
I can't.
She can't do it. Okay.
Can't hold the formal office, can I? I'm not a member of the board.
Well, I wondered if we needed someone off the board to
I think you'd have to have somebody off
have
the board.
signed signatures
I
situation.
don't know what the bylaws is, but in the past.
She's done all the work, it's just my title only usually is how it's been done. She takes care of all the minutes and does all your stuff for the person that would do that.
And who's held the role of secretary before?
Right.
Has it been too tough for you?
I mean, sitting here.
I'll nominate you then.
I withdraw my nomination. I'll nominate Bob Whipper.
I'll second that.
All right, we got
Wait,
nominated.
on the contingency, Miss Marydale, you continue yours.
Yeah, right, yeah, please, I'm stepping down if she leaves too, so.
You be secretary, she will be, executive secretary.
My secretary to the secretary.
Hearing no other nominations, and we do have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It does carry. So we
Yeah.
have a new administration. Yeah, I know it. We'll be all right though. Your November minutes were provided to you by email, and hope everyone has had a chance to look over those minutes. At your convenience, we will have a motion to approve November minutes.
Motion to approve.
Dominic's motion.
Second.
Sure, with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, approved. We had no December meeting, so there's nothing we need to do there, from my understanding. But we need to approve the financial reports for November and December. And they were also provided to you via email. You had a chance to look over those, and
Do we need to do them separately or can we do them together?
let's do them together.
Okay.
Let's do them together. And if we need to talk about anything on them, give you a few minutes to.
Tommy, was there anything you need to bring to our attention on there? Any anomalies or abnormalities?
Some of the things they questioned last time is Mary Beth can correct me too if I'm wrong. We started doing like, comptroller recommended doing like where we have multi purchases a month with a company, just do one PO a year annually, and we started doing that. And I think that's when you see those red numbers last time. That's because if that money ran out, she may have to put more money in that PO if we didn't have enough or something. She may have to adjust that. And that's, if you still look at the year to date, it's, a lot of them are okay. Now, there's some of them that we might have been a little over it. And one of them is where we are putting money that we have not depreciated yet or capitalized yet. So that's why it's a little high. And I think it's,
$499, the
$499.
other supplies, and then of course our labor too is high, because it'll go into the project work.
Every project work that we do, we add that to depreciation too. Like on the water lines and sewer lines and hydrants, we've been depreciating all that together, our labor and time. And what all we put into that.
Any other discussion on November and also December financial reports?
I had looked them over pretty detailed earlier and I didn't see any abnormalities, so I make the motion to accept.
Still got a motion?
Second.
Ray got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Water loss.
Going the right way.
Seems to be faring that way, don't it?
Yeah, we do. We're trying to find a leak on our social college side. We've been looking for it. We haven't found it yet. We do have or one affecting us a little. We're able to keep the tank full, but we sometimes have to run 2 pumps to keep the tank full. So we're just looking for it, but maybe we'll find it soon.
Which one?
Sulfur college tank. This appears to be a pump station. That pump, when we fixed those leaks before, it went to running maybe 10 to 12 hours a day and taking a break for about that same time. And then now it's back to running the one pump will run all day almost. So it's got a leak somewhere.
That's still one somewhere.
Yeah, we've been hunting for it. We hadn't seen it yet.
We're still trending down
Yeah, it's
over the last couple of
the
months.
next month's with this here, it may be seen next time. We're a
Okay.
month behind,
Okay.
looking at stuff. So
Have we had any fixes to cause this trend? Because in the past, it's just been no rhyme or reason. It's just up, down, everywhere, sideways. Have you found anything over the last couple of months that's helped us with this trend that we can kind of
Yes.
Yeah.
The one at the bridge.
Yeah,
bridge?
yeah, we had one at the bridge. See that,
Which bridge? No, just so everybody.
the one on, all across the river.
Okay, 141.
I tell you what happened was that all this time, that pump's done this for a while. Since I've been here, it's run like that. And not knowing, anything about how they were designed, we kind of assumed they might have been undersized.
Okay.
Because actually, when I come here, they were in the process of upgrading them to more output flow. And that got done, and still no change. And then when we fixed them leaks and they went back to this normal pattern, we now know that ain't normal pattern. So now we know to look, if that thing ain't doing what it was doing when we fixed all them leaks, there's something wrong. So you kind of live and learn with this, and we know to look now that if it ain't, but we had it down to running 10, 12 hours, stopping and breaking for about the same amount of time, and then it was, recuperating that way. So we know that ain't the normal pattern for that area to work that way. So now we know to look. And when we get these meters in, that'll help out as well. They're starting that tomorrow. Actually, they're gonna start installing the first meter of this project, the FlexNet project.
Gotcha.
Starts tomorrow. So
Well, we do know that September, October, we had a lot of water loss. We're replacing those, fire hydrants. And that probably accounted for that being in 40%, some of it. It's hard to calculate exactly how much you lost.
and out of all the hydrant changes we did, we had a line between the hydrant and the valve. It broke in two. We had to replace it. It is somewhat of a leak, but not terrible major.
Gotcha.
But that was only malfunction we had with plumbing. Anything that the pipe just cracked plumbing too. So we had to fix that one leak. Out of all those 30 plus hydrants, we only had one issue. So.
Right.
It's your best guess as to how much loss you had. So it could have actually been more.
I'm anxious to see what this is gonna do over the next little bit, because finding some of our mistakes. So, all right. Evan, engineering report.
I've got 3 or 4 updates, I guess. SRL has come back. They got comments, mostly environmental stuff, just standard. Is there any threatened endangered species, archaeological, the typical, making sure there ain't no permits required. So there's just clarification there. The only thing they did require, and we knew about this, but was waiting until they actually reviewed the facility plan, because you got so many days. They really harped on me and Tommy down there to make sure we had the timing just right on this thing, but you got to do a public meeting. So they want you to have it at 6 p.m. or later through the weekdays. So my suggestion to y'all would be maybe let's advertise it for the next board meeting. And just at the beginning of the board meeting, let that be the public hearing time. Or we can do it a little earlier. I mean, we can do it a little earlier, but their suggestion is 6 or later, and y'all make it 5. So, or we could wait till the end, I guess, and have it at 6.
Typically, as far as the commission, we just schedule them in our regular agenda and
Right.
we just open for a public hearing.
I mean, it's just a recommendation
During the
anyway, so
meeting.
you can do 5 if you want to. I'm just, it's not going to affect us one way or the other. We got to advertise for 2 weeks, so I mean, 2 weeks ain't going to kill us on
Right.
Put it
on this.
on the
project.
agenda toward the bottom of the agenda to open a public hearing for that.
Right.
We need to do that at the next meeting.
I would. I mean, I got to get it for them to approve to go forward. So
I want that.
my point is, I would make a special meeting.
Right.
Let's go ahead and do it at the beginning.
Again.
Let's get it out.
And I've got the wording for the paper ad.
But you're probably not gonna have anybody from the public.
No, you usually don't. That's why I don't want for everybody to show up
That's why I
for
don't.
for that. As he said, they're going to start the CDBG. Well, they've done started it, but they're actually going to put vaults in starting tomorrow on your flow meters. We should get that wrapped up. We are reapplying for another time. I don't know if that's on the agenda or not, but for another round. So they will be done in time for you to apply for your 2021. I guess that is on there.
Were they delivering those today?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I saw one out on 141.
Uh-huh.
Everyone loading it today.
And then the garage, I've got the plans here if y'all want to look at those afterwards. I think I've addressed everybody's concerns and comments. We've kind of got all that ready. I mean, they are stamped, they're ready to go. We've got the specs ready, so we'll put that out for bid. We kind of changed a little bit. I think we're trying to make it more of an office area out there, so I've added some other things that wasn't in the original, but we'll look at all that after the meeting, and I'll take questions or anything. I got it on the projects.
Anybody got any questions for him? SRF, CBDG?
Will you manage that project through
Which one?
completion?
Which,
The last one that's gonna go up for RFP?
the garage?
Okay.
That's up to y'all. I'm here
Okay.
inspecting, or the local building inspector. I mean,
Okay,
however y'all want.
I didn't know if it was already set up
Ours is just
that way.
design
Yours
and
is a
bidding.
design
Yeah,
contract?
we done
Okay.
the design and bid. Design and bid it out was our services, the scope, but we
Yeah,
can't
that's
come.
not my specialty, so I'd rather either have him or whoever.
And we usually, when we do, we're not here all the time. Like if they're gonna make a concrete pole, we'll be here for that. I mean, there's
Stages.
the bolt inspections on the pre-engineered metal. I mean, there's different stages we will come. We won't stand down here and watch them. So we put up two before, so we kind of do it in stages. If y'all want that done.
Yeah, so we need to get that together and get it ready for bid, right? We'll work on that.
Not for a motion, but just for a recommendation from personal experience. I'd recommend you have some kind of observation management other than, because I'm sure the office is, they're taking care of the local needs. We've done a couple things. We've done the design bid, we've done, and we regretted it later. Then we've done the design bid plus 40 man hours, where they came in and managed it for 40 hours. And you may have other templates or other formulas.
We usually do it by the hour, so I mean,
So,
it just depends, but
And then
The
with the
critical
40
phase-
hours, it got those inspections
yeah,
that
it gets
we've
the
done.
critical phases
Mhm.
or more.
And then we also had where a guy came in for 40 hours a week and he sat there and watched it all, but I don't think that's
I
gonna
don't
be
think that's
necessary.
required. I
This is
think,
not that.
I'd like for
Yeah.
him to review it myself.
Yeah, but if you just got him to check the box for you, especially if you're recommending that as
I
well.
do, because it's not, building is not my specialty, so I don't know all the codes and all that.
And
The building inspector still inspects. It's called special inspection. It's what it's called, so that's kind of what we handle.
Do we need a motion to put that out for bid right now, or how does that?
I think if y'all,
that's a good call. I don't know how it's been.
well,
Not really, not to put it out. I mean, usually y'all accept it once it comes in. So.
you just need to accept it. What I would guess, if y'all are okay with these drawings, if there's anything need to be done in the executive committee, I just need to, if I'm doing the advertising.
He just has to sign off on them.
I just have to sign off. If y'all are okay with them, we go to bid, and then if you don't, that's where you start. Y'all have to approve the monies,
Right,
to get spent.
okay. All right, yeah. Well, Evan, thank you. Thank you for your
Thank
engineering
y'all.
report. Unless there's any more discussion, I'm sorry, I didn't ask that. Good. Evan, thank you. Time we go right on the general manager's report.
Y'all had that before you just, I guess it's I didn't give it a resolution number, I'm not sure, Mary Dale might have some guidance on that. But, this is to back up what the county did the other night and the CDBG for next year. Sleep around the CDBG, y'all have to kind of agree to be a part of that, or we'll be paying anything back on it. So they need y'all's approval for that.
Why does it say president? Shouldn't it say chairman? On the signature line?
Probably because they consider, when people see utility district, they have presidents and not,
I don't
they don't
know.
have chairman.
Do we have a president?
No,
Jonathan, I know.
All they gotta do is have y'all's minutes
yeah.
that y'all approve. That's all the ECD's looking for. And I think I told Miss Fay to leave that blank as far as the monies. As far as y'all's match, we really don't know at this point. You're open to the whole amount, but I don't think it'll take that for what we're looking at.
This is up to 13% of the total project.
Yes. Well, what I'm saying is total project cost hadn't been calculated.
Determined yet, but they don't know. That's just what it is.
but with COVID, I think they're giving y'all 630,000. Does that sound right? Like,
Well, we gave the county 730-something thousand, not the water department.
Yeah.
but I'm saying
By that
this
means
this
I'm not
round
gonna
usually
put
it's
water
525,000 plus your match. They give another whatever the difference is there. But usually you're looking at 600 plus, but this year it's 630. That's what somewhere around that ballpark. So you got a little bit more money this year, I guess, to apply for.
So the 13%, if it maxed out, would be about 70,000.
More than likely, it's all that's based on.
If it was 630.
I think it's messed up. The 630 is everything. That's including y'all's match.
Including that.
Yes. So you gotta back that out. So I couldn't do it that quick in my head. So it used to be 525 plus your match, but I can't remember what they upped it to. It's not 525 this year. It's more, and they're doing that for COVID relief
Understand.
part of it.
I got no problem.
Motion to approve the resolution to match funds for the CDBG fiscal year 2021 application.
Second that.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Any more discussion? Vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Keep rolling, Tommy.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Scholes had a document here he worked on for the sewer use ordinance. And he went by one that he did it for the utility above us here somewhere. I can't remember the one it was, but it has in the language, I had him add that language about the force main. It's in here, not recognized as a necessary hookup to or anything. We left it in here. I didn't know how y'all felt, but if somebody has an active septic system, they can stay on it without paying a tap fee to hook up, but they're still gonna pay a monthly bill because they have access to it. If it meets that access requirement. But if y'all, well, I don't know even know how many we got, but if you want to do an inspection on that every 5 years, and if it's suitable, it can go another 5 years down the road. But if they have problems and it can't be, if they're going to have to repair it or something, it kind of says, well, then that pulls the trigger, you're going to have to hook up the sewer system and pay a tap fee then. It gives them a choice for a while until something goes bad, I guess, or happens.
So when you say does that put us as the police of septic systems?
No, they'll have to pay an inspection independent to inspect there and have it pumped down and looked at. We don't get involved in that. It just requires them to hire a competent person to inspect.
How are you gonna know they did or didn't?
You get a report from this person.
We're still in the business of policing these independent people.
It's not that you have
demanding
to.
reports.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's
business.
we kind of do that in some respect to backflow prevention. Because if we had one customer didn't want us to do theirs anymore, I said, that's fine. I just need a report saying it passed. You like to hire a company to come out here and do it. If they don't want us doing it, that's fine. We don't care as long as we just have to see that annual report gets done. If we do it or somebody else does it. I'm not saying do that. We just let that language here just for y'all to look at.
And that's under
We don't-
the 5B.
Yeah, 5B. And we don't know who these are. I can't tell you today who's got them, who don't, because we don't know that.
Now, does this conflict with that language for the ordinances? Isn't it the county ordinance has the language that you must?
This will take the place of that.
So this is gonna be the new.
That's why you gotta review it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Just trying to get clear.
So this is clearing that up.
That's why I was saying Hartsville, Trousdale County government or any area of the county
Yeah,
government.
okay.
And this gets it back into where our actual practice, it didn't match our actual practice here as with a utility. As far as, I guess it didn't actually say we charged you a monthly bill if you had access to it. It might have had it, but it didn't say it that way.
Wasn't clear within.
It wasn't clear how it happened, But it's made clear now, this is how it happens. You can still have your septic system be on it, but you still, if you have access, you still pay your bill.
I for one, I'm not opposed to, I mean, I don't like letting people have the option. If they got a septic tank sitting there and they're willing to pay $30 a month, not gigging them with that $3,000, $5,000 tap fee. But are you okay with whatever it's gonna take to manage these inspection reports and, you know, the paperwork involved?
We have to figure out who they are. I don't, like I say, I don't know that. The only one I've ever run into, and I think he determined he was still hooked to the sewer system, but his septic tank was still in play. You don't have to have a septic tank when you're hooked to our sewer system. He thought he was on a sewer system. It did go through the septic tank, but it came out and went to the front of the road and went in our system. They usually tell you that tank goes away, you fill it in and you get rid of it. But that may be, we just don't know those things. We only put a tap out in the yard and that's all we know. We don't know it. But we would know this by accident or figuring it out like that, you know, if somebody was on it.
I'd say you have a lot of tanks that it's still in play,
Still in play.
and you may have a lot of sewers hooked on the effluent side of the septic tank instead of field lines.
We could have it, but we don't know it.
You don't know.
We don't, because
The main
nobody.
thing with this that I see is if they have a problem with that, they don't have the option anymore. As long
And
as
you could
it's
probably
working.
take that inspection stuff out of it, and we word it in a way that says if the customer, we go out on a complaint and they say, my sewer's messed up, we may find it then. Well, you ain't on it, you know, well, you ain't on this line. We figure that out then and say, well, you're not hooked to it, you've got a septic system. It's failed here, or you know, have to do something like that.
Evan, did you read this one? Does that?
It's not gonna be voted on tonight, we just,
Okay.
y'all's
Does,
questions and whatever.
does that conflict with that TDEC stuff? Isn't there a TDEC thing too about having to do away with septic and use sewer?
Yes.
This was done,
Did Scholes have any opinion on that?
well, this was done by him for another utility.
Yeah.
And that may be what they wanted to do. I don't know.
That's basically what this says, that you have to use it if it's available. It's just existing systems that are in
Existing.
place are basically
Sure.
grandfathered against what you're
Yeah.
imposing.
I believe that's a statewide. I believe that that's a statewide formula that's being
Yeah.
currently practiced as well in other.
The state has regulations, our codes regulations, when we wrote them pertaining to septic, we said were our local county ones were whatever the state imposed statewide. So unless we change that, that's just from the building code standpoint. If the state allows this, we allow this. If they say you have to do this, we have to do this. And that way we didn't get into doing different than what the state requires.
I think in this inspection thing, it allows them some freedom until they have to do it.
Yeah.
Till it's required, till that fails and quits functioning, then you have to pay your tap fee and get up to it. That's how he worded it. And I'm sure where he did that at, it's a pretty vast populated area and they had problems and that's their solution to help.
I think it's very simply worded. It's easy to understand. I think.
You know, take some more time to read over it and maybe next meeting.
There's no rush on it. I don't
I
think.
don't think so, really.
Give us time to look at it if we have specific questions.
Yeah, let's, thank you for getting this put together for us.
Mr. Chairman, could I
Yes,
address the board on something?
yes, sir.
I know we've been looking at these, and they're the former ordinances, basically it was the town of Hartsville that got carried over. And I know I've talked in the past, I want to know, were these still in operation versus what's been passed? My opinion, looking at this, is these ordinances went away when this water utility board was given the power under this ordinance to make and adopt all rules, regulations, and bylaws as it deems proper in operation of the county government's water and sewer systems and in the conduct of the affairs of the board. So I would suggest we either appoint a subcommittee or Tommy can work with me and the county attorney to basically adopt these? Do we just want to adopt these outright as our policies? But I know there's some areas where the current policies and regulations of the water board are different than what's in these. I know that's a big lift. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. This is pretty comprehensive. I've read through it a few times. It seems to be pretty comprehensive and cover a lot of areas. I know that our regulations we currently have don't do that. So I just want to throw that out there, food for thought. Maybe when we're looking at this, come back next meeting, let's also look at how we've incorporated. Because like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here I know are not covered on our rules and regulations, but it spells out a lot of stuff pretty in depth when it was town of Hartsville operating it.
Can we get a copy of that, just kind of look over and see if
It's on the county's website, and I'll send you the link.
Okay. That way we could, look at it and see if we found things that we thought were problems or needed to add to or reword a different way.
I can send you the link to that document on the county's website.
So the plan with that, Mayor, would be basically, broadly speaking, adopt a lot or all of that, and then just take it out of the county's
Yeah, it would just,
business altogether.
what you would do is adopt into, and this is something I and the county attorney can do, we can sign off on it, is we basically take the ordinance that was passed and put that in here and say, this kind of overrode everything else.
Okay.
And you just refer, this ordinance didn't refer to Title 18, but that's the only place in all these codes that addresses water and sewer and everything else. So it just would naturally do it. And it gives the power to, as I said a while ago, do all these rules and regulations to the board. I guess my question is, do we want to appoint a subcommittee to look at this and work with us? Or do you just want to authorize Tommy, myself, and the county attorney to kind of look through it? A lot of it would probably be myself and Tommy, and then refer, once we get that done, to the county attorney, just to cut down his workload and try to make sure we streamline what we can find and make sure we've got it.
I think I'd be fine
Legally
with that.
acceptable.
Give us a recommendation. This is what we got. This is a good idea and have to proceed forward. That'd be awesome.
If y'all wanted to do it that way, or if you wanted input from us to look it over, mark it up,
Sure.
questions or highlights, areas that we think maybe need to be specifically looked at or addressed, it's accomplishing the same thing.
Or we're state that they're appointed as the subcommittee and they present it back to us before any decisions made. I think we should be safe. For the markups like you're suggesting.
I know myself, it's really when you're doing what you're doing, the more input you can have with markups and questions, the easier it is to put the final product together, because it gives you the things to zero in that might be problems when you go to approve it. So you're getting those problems out of the way on the front end instead of having to rehash them after you've spent the time putting together a product. That was where I was coming from, that suggestion, but.
Well, and I don't think we're gonna have this completely ironed out by the next meeting. It's probably gonna be the next 2 or 3 meetings.
Oh, yeah.
And the only reason I would suggest appoint myself, Tommy, and work with the county attorney. And the reason I'm saying that is because if I got 2 members of this board, now I've got to get public notice if we sit in a room and talk about what to do on this.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
Very true.
We need a motion on that, or is that just discussion?
We need a motion to adopt the subcommittee if that's what we want to do. or
If
not.
they're the subcommittee, or we just appoint them to it.
Oh, sorry. We can just appoint them to it then, if that's what you all want to do. What do you think?
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Motion to appoint the mayor and Tommy to investigate the rules and ordinances of the county versus the board. Report back when they can.
Okay.
Does that do it?
Well, I would make a friendly amendment to his motion if he's willing to accept it. And just we'll also consult with the county
And
attorney.
consult with an attorney as needed.
Are you willing to accept that amendment?
Accepted.
Agreed.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I appreciate you taking that on.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Well, I've been trying to go through and get this as up to date as we can, but there's large sections of it, like it still talks about how the town of Hartsville operates.
Right.
Those are just probably going to be repeal and replace them at some other time.
Okay.
There go all my board comments now. Any questions? I'll come back to you with them later,
Okay.
after that.
I got with a guy from the TD come by and we met and talked. They got a program, they call it Apprenticeship program. I sent y'all a copy of that. It's pretty lengthy, that's why I sent you a copy. I made one copy if anybody wants to review it there, but basically there's not going to be too many more people like me in the future. And I ain't bragging about that, but they're just people aren't getting in this business and learning what we know, like my age group, what my experiences I've had, and they want to try to help kind of streamline a little better program to educate people, get them trained up a little better. It's like 144 hours a year for 2 years program. It's probably a cost of $2,500 a person per year for the schooling they're going to get. They're going to get a lot of comprehensive training. It's the same training we all get, but they're getting it kind of fast tracked and getting it a little quicker than utilities normally do. But the reason I we want to bring it to y'all is because, in a few years, we're going to need a chief operator of a water plant. We're going to need a chief operator of a sewer plant in a few years. This will help to gear those two people and get them some training and get them ready to do those positions. And there is a possibility that it's not guaranteed, but he can try to file for grant money to help reimburse us on those costs. But I can't guarantee y'all that'll happen. But I think it's with the time frame we have to get people in key positions, it might be wise to maybe join this program. But I thought about 2 people because it is pretty training. 144 hours is pretty intense for 1 year. I had 2 people in mind that might be good for that. And one is he's a newer employee. That's what they're focusing on, trying to get. They do focus on young people, trying to get them involved in this business. But I got one. He's about 21 or so, 21, and one's about probably in his late 20s or early 30s. And, both showing aptitude for learning. So I think they would be good candidates. We can only do one if y'all want to. I ain't seen do 2, but I do have 2 candidates that might be good. This guy will come out and meet them and we'll talk to them if he'll get to know them. We'll have to have a mentorship program where I'll be one and Penny will probably be the other one. And we'll have to make sure they accomplish all their goals. And 2, there's only one major requirement they require in 2 years if they make a certain salary. It's part of it. I think it's $17 an hour. But if they get these credentials, we would probably have them there anyway. If they get the way we've set up our raises, they would be there anyway in a few years. So, we're already set for that. It's not nothing that's far. We wasn't thinking we'd be there anyway. So,
when I read through it, it looked like it was combining a lot of these separate disciplines and certifications that you had all into one. It was,
because water plant and the sewer plant, a lot of combinations like cross connections part of that. You have to have those are part of sewer plants and water plants. All this kind of training we already deal to do anyway. So they're going to teach them a bunch of stuff that gets them focused and ready on water systems. But it'll also focus them toward the discipline of water plant, sewer plant. That's their goal. But they don't have anybody like they're going to have a shortage in management in the next probably 10 years. When people like me retire and go out, they're not got people coming up behind them learning this stuff. And you tell us shoot yourself in the foot sometimes. People don't like to teach you something that they're afraid they're going to get your job security. I've never been that way. And I told this guy, I said, I've always trained people to do their jobs because the utility needs it. If I'm not here, or I leave, then I know when I leave, there should be somebody come up behind me and do some of this and be able to handle it, at least get you through some hard times. Because you have to have these certified operators. They have to sign off on your work to the state. If you ain't got them, you got to hire outside source until you get one, or hire somebody to come in. And the place I left, back in the, I guess, 2000s, the state or the government came up, federal government came up with a program, and they was going to pay the salary for a person to train. Well, they backed out of that, but TDEC kept it, and they funded that program. And the gentleman took my job, has all those certifications today, and he was in a program similar. And he took my place when I left, and he had all the licenses, and he was trained to do that. And that's what I want to do that here. I want these, my goal is to help all these people that work here succeed and be useful to y'all in the future whenever that comes down the pipe. I don't worry about teaching them. I want them to learn everything. I always said that I did that because of my leisure, I don't worry about it. So that's my philosophy on training people. And that's this goal, this program too. So,
Is this going to be recognized as qualifications for the certifications?
yes, all the classes they take will go toward that. Most classes you go to, if you are an operator starting out, if I went to this week class, well, that gives me 3 months credit for my year of service. So they'll get credit toward their year of service. I done got one of the gentlemen that's in here. He'll go take his distribution test in May. He'll have his time. He's already on track to start.
But they're still going to have to do the required state
They'll have to
testing,
do
whether
all
they do this or not.
They have to do courses that we can afford to send them to, I guess you might say. If they're doing a distribution track, they're going to take a distribution class. They're going to take certain classes for that. We'll try to send them to certain classes, math classes, things like that. I'm sorry, did I answer that line?
No, I just, sometimes you have training situations and things that come from associations that are not necessarily recognized by the licensing agent.
Oh, no, these will be either the TAUD will be performing all these trainings. Okay. And if not, the Fleming Training Center can too, and they're TDEC.
So what is the advantage of doing this over somebody just going ahead and doing the training?
Versus Fleming.
What?
Versus Fleming.
Versus Fleming, yeah.
What's the difference? That's what he's.
It's the same training, just different.
So what's the advantage of even doing it?
It's just, that gets them a fast track into learning more quickly than normal, than we normally can do it.
I see more qualified staff too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the result.
This is an accelerated training.
It's an accelerated 2-year program that gets them a lot of training hours that normally we just don't. We might can send in a year's time, we might send the person to 2 to 3 classes. Or at TAUD. And they get, that's the best we usually, most utilities do that minimum.
Sure. Are we paying them? Are they on the clock when they're doing these things, even if they're online?
We pay them to go, yes. We pay for all their training. We provide them a vehicle to travel. We're going to do our first webinar here in a month. It'll be done here. They'll be watching it on the computer. First one we've ever had it done. It's the first time they've offered it this way. That saves on them driving to Murfreesboro. Sure. So we save a little money to do that. Not all classes are that way or all webinar, but they're trying to start that I guess since the pandemic started, they're trying to go to some more, because some utilities don't let their employees go to class, or they're not letting people travel. So, and some do, but some don't. And that's why they come up with programs done online.
I guess you'd say a lot of your trades type industries such as this are going back to the trades type situation. This is getting more and more prevalent with other things. And you're right. You know, we got a lot of people retiring. I know within the code industry 5 years ago, I think it was something like 57% of the people working would be retired in 5 years. You know, and there's extreme shortage in that industry. So I'm sure it is in anything like this in a management type capacity. This is what we've always done. You know, you're going to be leaving in 5 years to take somebody under your wing to try to prepare them to take over for you. And it's just on a more formalized basis.
Fast track of what we already doing. Yeah.
Well, just a more organized approach to it, a systematic approach, I guess, would be the way I would look at it. I'm good with it.
one of you candidates, he just finished TCAT. He graduated, so he's used to training a little bit. He's more, and he's younger, he's kind of more flexible to that. And the other guy, he's a newer hire too, but he is real. He'll sit down and read something, try to understand it. And you got to have that in these water plants and sewer plants.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Mayor?
I was just looking through the document here. I've got it as a PDF, and it's got appendix 1. It's got the wage progression. So period 1, this is their starting out level. 65% of the completion wage, which the completion wage is $17. So it's apprenticeship program. It looks like it'll be paying them, but it's based on this lower rate to give them the training and everything. Then you bring them up to the $17 an hour. It looks like. And I was in a economic development training course with a gentleman that does this program for TAUD. That was actually, it was a workforce development training for talking about these different things that are out there. Of course, one of the topics was apprenticeship programs, because Tennessee Department of Labor is putting those in place, and I'm working with our area workforce development boards and whatnot. And so he talked about it, and it's kind of the same thing that Tommy talked about. And of course, the document was sent out, basically saying, here's what it is. It's basically a very structured apprenticeship program. Make sure you get your trained staff and get them in place. Because he said the same thing Tommy did, and I agreed with him that, especially in that profession, you're going to see a lot of loss here coming up very soon. We don't have anybody in the pipeline really to replace it. So they've been going out to high schools and technical colleges, and I was trying to get people to go into this apprenticeship program to try to replace that lost knowledge and labor we're about to experience in the next 5 or so years.
Let me say this, when they originally approached me about this, they actually had people in mind to send here to do this job. But I said, I've done hired all the people I can hire. I want to do it with people I've hired. And they agreed to do that. So they said, we can do that. They was want to bring an outside person in. So I said, I done got all the hirees I can get right now. So can I work with who I've hired amongst these people to get this training? And they agreed to do that. So,
is there any like HR implications? Like, or are you going to open it up to all your guys? Are you going to be selective? And what if one of the guys you don't offer it to says, well, I want in on that?
Well,
How
do
we offer it to all the guys? And they can just
not really.
Okay.
And one reason, it's not because of bias or anything like that.
It could be perceived as that.
It could be perceived as that. I'm okay with letting these guys train and get these licenses, but I want somebody that I think can succeed at it too.
So I think if you opened it to everyone and then had a selection process, or it be an interview process or whatever, then no one can say it wasn't open to them. So you may want to announce it.
Do that.
Yeah, announce it to everyone and have a selection committee, conference, whatever, with the executive committee.
Jobs like the water plant, sewer plant are very, you have to be good with math, science. They're very, you need to have some skills to be able to understand what you're doing. Math is a real important thing. So people need to be very adept in mathematics and basic algebra.
But I could see where you could open yourself to, if you don't open it to everyone.
And that's fine. This is just a
I'm not saying you let everyone do it, you have a selection process, but at least give them an opportunity to apply.
Well, I for one am interested. I mean, like everybody said, he said, I think Hiller opened up their own HVAC college for their employees. The big contractor I used to work with has.
Well, Lee's
all the trades are in the same mind. So I think it's good. Better we're being proactive on that end. It'll pay for itself.
Well, one of our local guys just shut his business down so he can teach.
This gentleman at the mayor's time, but it's the same guy, just can't think of his name. He's the one over the program at TAD. He'll be willing to probably come in and do these interviews with me on these guys and say who's got the best, who may have the best, qualification for doing it. I think he'd be willing to do that.
Well, I'd be real interested in us looking at it and adopting it if we get the cross our eyes and
and he's willing to come talk to y'all too if you need him to. I told him let me do this introduction, see if y'all are interested. y'all are, he can come talk to y'all too about the program.
When does the program start?
It's not a gotta start date, it's just
Okay.
whenever we agree to join in, they just start that process out for whoever's gonna be doing it. They'll start that training period.
It looks like it would start whenever we all agree to it, and give
We
us sign
agree
off,
to
and
it.
they sign this agreement, so it's like any individual contract to PAVD to do this program.
And we agreed to it,
Well, it could also be a cherry for recruiting someone coming into the program. You can say,
High school
you know,
grads.
hire somebody, you know, you can have an opportunity to do this possibly, you know, so it's just might help attract employees because they feel like they got more of a
Future
chance of
opportunities.
advancement, more opportunity.
The HR question I have is, have they given you any examples of if they were to leave and depart during or prior to this apprenticeship? Because I have seen sometimes where if you do have an offer an apprenticeship, you're required to stay. I'm assuming we're right to work state, but you're also required to stay at the company. You'll be required to stay at the water. You know, just look into your
I'm not
options of
saying that.
staying with the water department for 24 months or however long, because the water department is investing quite a bit of money for this opportunity.
I understand that. I only seen that in one field of career, and that's police departments. If they train a guy, they'll make him pay. I've seen one utility, Mount Eagle made a guy pay back $2,500 because he left before his time was up. They made him pay back the training. Yeah, and I think y'all could do that.
My son had to sign up for something like that.
Sure. A lot of companies, that's normal. If
I
they're
think
gonna, they'll pay for it, but they're paying for it not for you to go work for somebody else.
Exactly.
I think that was a 5-year. They had to work 5 years for that. They considered that done, you know, paid for or whatever. You had to get 5 years of service. If you did, they paid for your training. That was in a police.
The other thing is you get a couple of people trained and then you can't put them in this position because who's there is not left yet. They get frustrated. They want to go to work somewhere else because they have that opportunity presented to them, but you can talk what ifs online. It's a good thing to participate in.
Do we need more discussion on this, and or we put it up and no vote? No.
Well, is this a voting thing, or are we gonna look, I would say let's do it, but,
We can.
do we need to look at more of the detail before we agree to it?
Well,
or
I think
just say put
probably
it in?
just want this to be kind of a first look introduction, and then that gentleman that's over the program can come and ask more in-depth questions.
So it's pretty clean.
My consideration would be open it to everyone, have a selection process, possibly look into having a commitment. If they're continuing with the program, but that's just, other than that, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they're gonna do what they do and the way they do it. Probably not fun.
Yeah, they have a lot of accountability. I guess in a way, this program was designed, like the mayor said, to get somebody out of school, come here. And the program was set up for this person to actually pay for their own, but we do that anyway. So. But it's requiring them to have, say, I'm gonna stay here so many years to cover that cost. That you invested that money in, I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
All right, well, we'll keep this on the agenda, and
I can have him come back next month if y'all want him to.
That'd be great.
We can sit down and develop a plan for what y'all talking about doing the interviews, and this is how we're gonna approach this. And y'all say I'm ready to go into this.
Ask them if that's done, if that's
I'm
done
sure
or not
he
done.
I bet somebody's got those details worked out
Right.
somewhere, for sure.
He'll know that, and all that's, I'm jotting down all your thoughts, and we'll bring all that to him and say, let's look at how we can approach this in the way y'all could recommend it.
That's good, that's a great idea, Tom.
thank you for that report. Public comments. Seeing no one here. Board member comments. Anybody got anything?
Welcome to the new crew.
That's right. Somebody said it's on.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, go to the meeting. That's what I usually tell. All in favor, get up and leave. I guess it's 5 o'clock. I'm starting fireworks. Oh, that long.
Now, she's taking over.
I didn't sign it. Hey, it'll get my fuel bill come across the river. Is that what it is? No, is that their address or mine?
What's that?
How about I put my glasses on? No.
That's the green No, what we done was, since they're making an office here with the drive-through, for people to come in, and had to actually have ADA parking spots. But at first I thought everybody's going, someone's going to stop here, but we're trying to make this as its own. Sure. If it ever goes that way. At least they build that. Is there much dirt work still? Oh, there will be.
How we gotta do
All
this?
this hump area here, will have to be graded down a little.
We got some land that's humpy.
That's one of the things. This is getting cut out, it's getting moved over here, this is getting cut out and moved, so. I haven't done all.
This goes down the hill, there, so when you get down the marathon here, there is a ditch.
There is.
Here, right?
Right,
That's just
yeah.
gonna hit the ditch or-
But it's gonna come out slowly, this ain't but 8 inch pipe, so it's actually getting built back here. Where's this sewer line that's put in there, right over here? See, I mean, that's what I was talking about.
It's good.
He comes right through here, so he's gonna come on that corner, and I told him, when I talked to him, to get that in before we start putting this fill in. Or they're gonna have to dig a lot more. You know, like that's up to them. If they're not. Are we giving them the easement to come across there to hook on? Or
You could, yeah, you'll have to, actually.
That'll probably be following that line.
it'll be yours when it's said and done.
Okay.
Well, y'all saying that this will be our line. Our line. They're putting them in.
I don't want to go down there.
I say we had.
I mean, when you pay somebody $1,500 for an easement, why are they not paying us $1,500 for an easement? That's what question.
That's fair, though. That is what it means.
So therefore, here's some changes. So this is gonna be a storefront door.
Okay.
Instead of a shop door.
Yeah.
A teller counter, Tommy wanted me to bid it out with a protective barrier, so like a bank would have. For them to be behind, so. It'll be 2 windows. I don't know how many y'all got out there, but.
Just one.
Do you? Well, I think we get 2 in here with a door.
Well, we got, as far as on the counter, people, there's more than one.
Right, that's what I thought.
There's only one drive-through.
Yeah, be one drive-through, 2 counters.
Oh, okay.
Is one of these gonna be ADA drop down
Yes,
section?
correct.
Okay.
And all this is AD access from this part right here.
That's why you're putting it right here.
Mhm. It would work better up here, but then I didn't
Right.
figure y'all want people to come through your conference room,
No.
so this is kind of, and like these doors,
Uh-huh.
these doors are gonna have the code for y'all, for the employees, but
Okay,
this one will be open to the public, so.
okay.
It'll
Are you
it'll keep people out.
you're gonna code these shop doors as well, or just?
They are locked. I'll tell you my thoughts on how I've done it. These are locked with a key
Okay,
and locked in the offices because I figured and it made it easier so nobody gets confused. I figured if Tommy's in there and he wants to have a meeting, he wants to lock these
uh-huh,
with a true lock, not just a privacy
Right.
lock. So the way I done it is these doors here, number 2's all got full locks.
Okay.
I know the tool room don't need it, but
Well,
When
It's
you
a
get-
high security.
well, also when it comes down to it, and the contractor's putting locks on.
Yeah.
He'll get real confused and.
well, I mean,
So-
what good does it do to have a lock on this door that's bay's open that somebody could come right in?
Right. Yeah.
That's my
So
thought.
all these are locked.
That's my purpose.
And this one's locked. The rest of them are gonna have like a bathroom lock where you can actually push a lock.
If you're in the building, if you're in the room and want to lock it.
Mhm.
Okay, that's why you've got them coded different.
Yes,
These all
Yeah, it's all
36-inch doors.
yes.
Okay.
Mhm. And I'm still in this concrete and I asked him and I'll get y'all's consensus. We can either stain this or we can do LVT tile, so. Or any other method you want, but that's.
As messy as they are coming in and out with mud and stuff,
That's what he.
whatever is the easiest maintenance, you know, and
Well, that's what me and him talk about. If
stained concrete, sealed concrete holds up
Lifelines,
well.
lifelines longer on that, and you've gotta
That's what I told him. If you
glue
seal
with
it, if
tile.
you seal it, you gotta. If you stain it, you gotta seal it,
Uh-huh.
and so you're up to sealing it so often. And if you do LVT tile, you gotta wax it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I'd rather
I
roll
prefer
out
stained
stain.
concrete.
Stain.
I think it's tougher.
well, that's what we. That's kind of what we had to begin. Now this will just be your just regular sealed concrete with shop
So
there,
you're running a trench drain down the middle.
all the way down,
Cool.
so they can wash it and it'll go.
Is that tied into just that?
Sewer.
Okay.
That's a code requirement.
Right.
That's like me. So
That's what I'm asking.
that's like my stamp over here. So.
All right,
That's
and
in
this
PE,
heat,
man.
this is your heat and air unit?
Yes, and I'll show you, it'll be over here on the MP drawings. So here's the mezzanine. Here's, if I'm reading all the rules correct, the OSHA compliant guardrails are going to control in this case. So the IBC ones where you gotta have a little 4-inch.
Right.
It's all
No.
It's not needed, so.
No, on our shit, it's just two rail.
Correct.
Mhm.
And they're gonna be removable. So it's a face section, so you can take every one of these out if you wanted to, all the way down, so.
But mainly you need a section you take out, so if you want to lift something up on a forklift to load
Yes,
it in
correct.
and out of that area.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to differentiate. All of them will be the same because of the way the brackets are made, so.
Okay,
You
okay.
can take them off. Well, except around the stairs, of course.
Of course.
They're gonna be tied in. Oh, your roof plan. So here's the outsides, so. Let you drive through. That's the shop door I was talking about, the half glass. There's your storefront.
Uh-huh. Full black.
That's where you power meters coming in. We got all the outside lighting. The wall packs.
So we just need to make sure that these have the closers that meet the ADA
It's got it.
standards.
Sure does. And it's got the pull bars and the press.
Right, okay.
That's why I changed that one. It was gonna be like these, and then when we started thinking about people coming in,
Are we looking at concrete all around this area, paving this area?
paving and concrete right up here.
Concrete stoops and
I'll show
concrete.
you.
Okay.
There's that's just the side views. That's the kitchen window. That's whoever's washing dishes wants to.
Zero overhang on
We
the
want a
building.
dishwasher, we don't wanna wash dishes.
It's in there. All right, so here's looking, that's just a section, so here's looking into, that'd be Tommy's
From
office.
the bays.
No, this would be Tommy's office.
Two room.
Tool room, materials, conference room. Power, there's a, this power panel goes to just the shop, just the shop area.
Okay.
The main power panel's in the MP&E room. There's your bathroom, kitchen. Here's the big joist above the,
Uh-huh.
conference
What would
room.
it take, 2 to 12, on 12?
Yeah. Here's another section view, just giving the contractor an idea. He did put this fan in here that we can make that an option or not. It's just a 12-foot big fan, just to move some air around. Because of your heat, to push that heat down in the winter. It's not really a
So
summer.
this is a blade fan?
Yes, the big one.
Like Newport, no.
Large.
Big.
like-
12
Big
foot,
ass.
yeah. That's
Big ass
exactly what it
fan.
is.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love, we've got, I've got a 100 by 100 hanger there in, and we love it with the,
There, man.
That's what it
with,
is.
when we've got the four
That's what's in
the
the
four
Wilson
heaters in the
room.
corners, and it just to like not a day to day, but
last week when it was so cold, it just really moved it around.
Yeah, it will.
Move that heat around well,
So
and takes the sweat off in the summer too. That was one of the beauties.
we're doing a turn down, or we doing a true footing and then slab?
This will be a slab on grade, but under this main wall here where it's got the load bearing,
Uh-huh,
I thickened it just under this wall.
okay.
A regular wall will just be, non-load bearing wall will be.
Yeah. So we don't need to do a footing on the perimeter of the building at all?
The way the foot, I'll show that's over here.
So it's got pier
It's got,
footing?
no, it's got a stem wall. It's a pre-engineered metal building, so the way they do them.
I'm pre-engineered metal, you have to have that.
Well, you gotta turn it down, you gotta thick,
Okay.
because you gotta
But
hold
got
all this in.
The piers,
Yes,
okay.
and that's here.
That-
But this is kind of running back here. Yeah, it's running, that's for sure. But this is 4 inches thick, where this is only 6 inches,
Uh-huh.
and it's differentiated because it's office space.
Right.
So I've saved you, I mean, I pulled 2 inches out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not needed. And the ductwork, the only thing, when I got with my MP&E guy,
Uh-huh.
we had to lower the hallway, so the hallway's gonna have an 8-foot ceiling for all the ductwork to get through. These will be 9s, but we had to put it somewhere, and we didn't want to run it up over the mezzanine and be in the way, so. And it don't matter as far as your hallway goes, so.
Did you specify hard duct, or they're gonna be able to use flex drops to the rooms, or did you get that part?
Yeah, it's in here.
Okay.
That's more on his end,
Okay.
if you wanna read it. So this is what I was gonna bring up. It's got a split unit. The split unit's upstairs.
Yep.
That does that, but he did put a mini split in here because the conference room's so big. So if it was hot outside and he's gonna have a
But
maybe.
is it gonna also be tied into this one?
No, this will just give this room a
So
boost.
that's what I'm saying. So this room is coming off this system. This is
Oh, yeah,
just an
yeah.
auxiliary.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
See, it's got its own return and its own.
But it only has one in and one out on that system. so-
Correct. Because we literally had to pack all that right in here, right down the hallway.
Is there a his and hers, or is it just one restroom?
What?
Unisex restroom?
Yes, unisex.
Okay. Boy, the ladies ain't gonna like that.
Well, we can take something else out and put another one in.
I think that'll be an issue. Madame?
Not as long as they can hit the toilet.
They're not going to. That's why I'm saying it's gonna be a problem.
Can you take some to the room and make one?
Can
Well,
you not put it out in the shop area?
What, for the men?
Yeah.
And put them out in the cold out
Yeah,
there.
I mean, really, you could take care of this room, which would be the tool room. Well, no, I don't know which one it is.
You got the shower in here?
Yeah. But it still ain't gonna matter. I mean, I gotta have it's gotta be ADA, so you're gonna have to have a room this big.
Right.
So I ain't sure this one's even gonna work, you may lose space out of something else, probably out of this one.
But you wouldn't have to have a shower in the ladies necessarily.
No,
Can you do just a half? Is it possible just to have a sink and a commode? Just a,
yeah, that's what it would be.
yeah.
Without a shower.
That big, would it?
Well, it still won't have to be this big, it'll still have to be,
Wheelchair.
6'8" by 6'8". Yeah, 6'8" by 6'8", so 7
But
by
that's
7.
bigger. I mean, that room's bigger than that, isn't
These are 8'7" by 12 foot.
it? Okay, that's what I'm saying. So almost half of one of those.
But, I mean, you're gonna lose the whole thing.
Yeah.
Cause it's already 8 foot, I mean, you might gain a foot in his office and shrink that down a foot and convert this
So
over.
we could move the two room pieces.
Didn't we have it? Wasn't it initially drawn with two? No.
So it was just gonna be a shop.
That's right.
And then after I got about 3/4 done, then it wound up saying, hey, we're gonna move everybody, eventually everybody may move out
Did it go up on the mezzanine?
Is this enough office space in this area for them up here, Tom?
I don't think they'll need a whole lot. We got more than we need up here now. I mean, for us.
Okay, I'm just
Taking meals.
asking, cause you
In
gotta,
in comparison to what you have today, is that a lot more square footage, or is that compatible to the square footage that you all utilize for the departments that are gonna be in this building?
well, the thing, it's hard because a lot of it's shared. The restrooms are shared with other departments, so. My question, you got a kitchen bigger than the office.
No. This is 12 by 12.
What was that? 10 by 12?
10 by 12.
Almost as big. I mean, I know how important the kitchen is.
Almost 12 by 12.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm sorry, you got a kitchen as big as the office space? I got.
Well, this got bigger too, because this teller window come in here, and this is actually all
Yeah.
space now.
But you gotta put desks, they gotta have desks, she has to have a desk, filing cabinets, all that sort of thing. I'm just,
It's gonna be much tighter. Another office kitchen.
Well, I thought they didn't want another bathroom. I thought that's what was in the middle.
Well, what if you make the kitchen a galley and a half bath out of that space with all the water within those two
within that
rooms?
area. Cause you got it backed up to it now.
To make a galley kitchen out of the space you have allotted and add a half bath in that space.
I mean, they use the kitchen as a break room too. I understand it's not just they're in there cooking meals. It's more of a break room, place to sit, eat.
Well, how frequently is the conference room gonna be used and maxed out?
Not much. I mean, it's for training or meetings, y'all's meetings.
Do a
will be
little
there.
corner
And
kitchen job over there with some
Oh, that's a
counters
great
and
idea,
some,
like a
Put it
kitchen, yeah.
inside the conference.
put it
room.
in the
Great idea.
conference room and, you know,
See what I'm saying?
Tom, you'll have to have
Oh,
hot
Kind of like
coffee
it is
for
at
us.
the community
Yeah,
center.
yeah, exactly.
Put his and hers.
Mhm.
His and hers right here, and then move our kitchen over.
Just
It
have
doesn't
it
even have to
actually
be-
open into the
Yeah,
conference
so-
room.
yeah,
Cabinets
just-
are just in the corner of the conference room.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, to me, that would be a little more easily doable, and if you had extra space in doing this with your his and her added on to this office space.
The conference room wall that's attached to the kitchen, is that load bearing or fire?
No, this would have.
This
to be
is your only
fire.
load bearing wall.
And this would be your firewall because of the,
Separation
Right,
between the two,
yeah.
okay.
are you sure we're not gonna have to bring this wall all the way up to the ceiling as a firewall?
No,
in the garage
it's a
area?
1 hour, so this gets an hour and the ceiling gets an hour.
So this ceiling,
So the
It's an hour.
ceiling has the hour on it
Yes,
as well,
It does.
okay.
This is all encapsulated in
Okay.
1 hour.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. That's how you get out of that.
I mean, I could see having the kitchen as a part of the conference room. The conference room is used as a break room because it's, as long as it's big enough to have meetings in there or training sessions. Tommy, you think
That's
that,
fine.
you think that would work?
Yeah, I believe it'd be fun. I've seen something like it.
Do y'all want to access from the conference room into the kitchen?
Not
So
if
you
it's just
don't-
open into it.
No, not even, yeah, I guess not even a dedicated room, just throw some cabinets and counters. And
Oh, you're saying take out this wall?
No,
No,
he's saying take
throw
what
some
would have been.
cabinets in the
back
corner
the
here.
cabinets
and-
and sink up to this
Oh,
wall.
you're saying literally put the kitchen in the
in the
conference room?
conference
I got you.
room.
Okay, I'm following.
Yeah, no, not build it in it,
Just,
let it be in it.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you anticipate to rent this conference room out for the public? Because if so, I know I'm just like going against what I've just thought, but to think forward, and a lot of times you have a conference room and if it's rented out, then everybody working may want in that kitchen, so. And it's the only reason I would see that wall would want to be there to separate the two spaces. But if you don't think you're
That's
gonna rent
never
it
been
out,
our Intent, no.
if you're not intending to rent it out or anything, then that could become your break room.
Yeah.
Training room.
Yeah,
Break room.
See,
More of a multi-purpose room.
exactly.
Mhm.
with this room, we could allow people like Teddy to come here and do a class and
Sure.
invite people to come to it, you know. it gives a little option for something like that. too.
We could have our water board meeting.
You
And
can-
on the occasional times when that happen, I mean, the folks that need a break room could
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, they can go. They can go eat somewhere
have
else.
lunch one day somewhere else. Like,
So
and
what-
I'm not,
A lot of places like West Wilson,
Yeah.
they have meetings in
I
their
remember.
room like that.
Yeah.
And they have.
So what all are you
area,
gonna want in the
But
kitchen?
they all go off to a restaurant somewhere and have dinner, so they don't have to worry about bathrooms.
Are you going full blown kitchen like I already have? I had sinks, dishwasher, refrigerator, cabinets everywhere. I mean,
Yep.
Are we still gonna want the whole works?
Yep.
Just stick it inside the conference room.
Line up that wall.
Refrigerator for sure, sink
Yeah,
for sure,
there you go.
dishwasher.
I mean, where's the,
There's a window right here that
Can go.
but it can go.
You can go.
so,
Well, you still have the window.
If it don't work out,
You put your sink under the window.
yeah,
Yes.
a smaller
yes,
one.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be that smaller window, it'll just move down. Cause this ain't gonna have a window because it's gonna become a bathroom.
what if you just made the cabinet all the way across that way and you made the kitchen? Yeah, you put, it's in, well, it's inset, it's set in that space, and then you used all this as your half bath. You don't have to move your windows can stay, because that's actually gonna be somebody standing there
That
looking
window, I
at.
have to, I mean, I've gotta move it because my bath's gonna have to come. It's going to be 7 feet this way. Does that make
Looks
sense?
good in the mind, but not on the paper, does it?
This will be 7 feet, you know, you'll have this wall actually move over here, you'll have a 7-foot bathroom.
but then that wall might be
So
be
then
able
this
to
wall,
set back
then this
in.
wall's gonna come in, so you're
That's
gonna
right.
inset kitchen.
And that would be 2 foot counter
Yeah.
width.
That'd be perfect.
So you'll L it, you're gonna lose some cabinet space, but not much.
Yeah.
The main
You don't
thing
have
is,
much here
the
anyway.
main thing is we're
No.
gonna
No, we don't have.
cram this refrigerator, we may cram the refrigerator in this corner.
Now, where do they have a storage room for supplies and things?
They got a tool room and
So
parts.
all of that would be in those rooms?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that little bitty room there?
This,
Laundry.
that's laundry.
No, up here,
Right here.
over
This
there.
one? That's
Right there,
that's
yeah.
MP&E, I can't lose it.
It's what?
MP&E, that's for your mechanical, plumbing, electrical.
Oh, okay, that's mechanical.
So it's gonna have your electrical, it's gonna have your water heater,
Okay, gotcha,
black flow preventer and all that stuff.
gotcha. If you're gonna double up on the bathrooms, would it be helpful to put it in the center of the 2 bathrooms for plumbing?
Oh, no, it'll be excellent to do. You really want your toilets back to back. So
Yeah.
what y'all wanna do is great as far as plumbing goes.
Well, and I was just wondering, I was thinking like if you did both the kitchen and the bath, like a galley in that space too. So if you did, you've got 12 by 5. And then you've got both worlds.
But then they wouldn't be big enough for them to actually sit in there. They'd have to take it out and go into the conference room. I like the idea.
I was thinking if the conference room, if the kitchen is still open, I'm sorry, if the kitchen is still open to,
Uh-huh.
It will be.
like the counters right here. That's
It
what I
will
was
be.
thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be. Yeah.
Okay. I misinterpreted you. Thank you for the correction.
Like I said, you'll probably just lose a little bit of cabinet because you'll have a refrigerator here is what I'm envisioning. Well, down here, you'll have countertop, an AO counter.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Right.
come over and you'll put your sink under that window if that's what you want.
Then you still get your full sink. That'd be
I
great.
think it would look nice. I think it would give them enough counter space. That's what, 8 feet of countertop?
Yeah, it'd be 12
That wall's
plus
12, so
12
yeah.
plus probably 5.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's as much as that right over there. About how much that is.
And you just saved a bunch of bathroom fights.
You did.
Yeah.
You sure did.
Good catch on that one.
I mean, bathrooms are not, they're not expensive to put in to begin with, as much as they are to try to add them.
You ain't lying there.
I hate for you to have to redraw it, so.
Oh, not as bad as my MP&E gallery.
Yeah. That's right.
So it probably won't go out to bid next, I mean,
Well, I mean,
it's all right.
I'd rather get it the way it needs to be.
I'll push him as hard as I can push, you know, sometimes.
That's a big deal though.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, we've changed gears, you know, we went from it just being a shop to being a shop and an office and the whole operations you know, each iteration, if we started out, I think that the whole thing was going there to begin with, it would
Come together.
It would be different than what it is now. You know, but I think the overall size.
You want it right.
shop,
I mean, let's get it right between you.
Yeah.
And
And I'm speaking for the women. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I just,
Well, that's why they got that, office space in there that changes in the front. Cause they said they no way that's gonna work. As far as, you know, not having counter space in the front. So we
Yeah.
did,
So,
they had some very good points about the need for that. So we-
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
well, I agree with that.
Go ahead, Mary Jo.
so the count, we're all gonna be in here, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
How many desks do y'all have?
She got one, Laura's got one.
That are used continuously too.
Counter spaces for almost everybody else, so.
How many other people is that?
Well, we got Laura, Frida and Bobby,
You
there's
usually
four
have
of
two
us.
tellers a lot of the time.
So you
All
need
we have.
4 good drop spots, basically.
I don't know if that room's gonna get it for 4
It's
people.
not.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, moving one of these upstairs is fine, and get more space in here.
I wouldn't mind.
Cause we got, that's why we wanted to reinforce.
It might
That's
be,
the point of reinforcing, not to waste this space.
So that we can use that.
Then we can do,
Can you
we can move these
Can you
around.
be in an office by yourself?
She
I'd
is
love to
kinda-
be in an office by
Why
myself.
don't we make hers there and yours there?
That's fine.
And then that only puts the transactions up here.
That's close enough for them to yell together. Or
It is.
or whatever.
But then close enough she can shut the door.
You
She's
move
got.
me in the back, I don't care.
You put me upstairs. Yeah, I'm serious.
It might get a little hot up there. This is
No,
only,
it
this is
wouldn't.
only cool spot. This is only
No, the way they
conditioned
get,
spot.
the way they stay hot.
it's gonna be a whole lot better listening to
You'll
that
have a
drive through
split
being.
unit tied on upstairs
Yeah.
somewhere.
She's in there listening through the drive. Everybody comes through the drive,
I mean,
right in their
you know,
ear though.
There's room
How she
up
handles
top
that.
for trusted.
Yeah.
We're gonna use this for probably more things than y'all are we even thinking of.
Oh, I
right now.
get it.
But these things can go up top, cause we're gonna have a way to lift stuff up, put it up there anyway.
Well, see, and
It's
then,
not an issue.
I mean, then I'll have more room for my file cabinet and stuff.
You can have all the filing in there and her desk in there.
That's doable for
That's close to them.
You don't have a window, that's gonna upset
Do
me.
you need to go out in the shop?
She probably don't. You could do away with.
You can do away with one door.
One door.
Because I could do away with that and then that would give you more room
Inside.
inside to do file cabinets or.
Do you want a window to look out into the shop, Maridel? It's not as exciting as the grass, but you see something going on.
Skylight would be good.
If it was a window into the shop, it would have to be a fire rated window into the shop. So that would get,
Okay, well, if you.
Yeah.
Can I just have the one exit, is that not a fire?
no.
Yeah, you can just
You
kind
can
of
have
leave
one
one
door.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying you can have no door, you can have a
Yeah.
window, you could have nothing. I mean,
I don't see the necessity of having the door out in the shop
I don't see her going out and shopping.
No.
unless you use it. It gives you versatility sometime else if you want to swap offices or,
Sneak out.
yeah, sneak out or something.
No, I don't need to go out to the shop.
That would save a little bit of money.
And I mean, Tommy could always take if somebody needs a bigger office, you got a tool room versus this
I think
being
there's all
smaller.
kind of options here with what we're gonna do up top. I mean, we can.
Tommy doesn't need a lot of office.
I don't need a whole.
That's 8 by 12, so.
I mean, seriously, that office you're in there is probably 8 by 8.
8 or something like that.
Yeah. It's,
It's
as long as
fine.
you got room for a desk and a couple of chairs, basically.
I don't need a whole lot.
Yeah, desk, I vision the desk being here because of the 2 doors, for him to be able to go out and shop.
Well,
And all them doors had openers. I did go over there. Yeah, all those electric.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're up to.
it really is.
Yes, well, they're on the side of it.
Yeah, side on that.
So you're saying this is gonna be Mary Dale's office,
Not this one.
this one?
Tommy.
Okay, go
With
ahead.
the laundry, you get a window there.
Are these the same size?
They're out
They
there.
might kill me if I keep throwing
Well,
it.
That's
Would
okay.
you-
I don't have to have a window.
Would you need to be where you're more closer?
I
young
can
contact?
either flip flop either way.
But I'm just asking,
Do you need to be closer to the women up front?
that's what I'm saying. That's my question.
It's a difference of 5 feet, it looks
Yeah,
like. 5 to
I
6
know, but
feet.
it's still a line of sight if you're having to come out here, or they're having to go in there, or,
All we're talking about is getting rid of doors, right?
Yes,
That's all-
I don't even know which one to get rid of though.
that's my point.
Yeah.
If there's customers coming in and out of there, those doors are gonna be closed. Those office doors, I bet nobody's gonna want to sit there and see people walking right up to the door to
If
their.
you need privacy, you should.
If you had your choice, which of these do you think
It
you'd rather
makes-
have?
I don't care.
As far as you're working with them, day-to-day interaction with other people?
I mean, customers and also the ladies that work at the station, do you need to be able to toss them a roll?
No.
Or sometimes they're busy and somebody comes in, you have to come out and
Good
help
idea.
somebody, or,
Well, if,
That is true, she can
Yeah.
see what's going on
if
that
I'm
way.
here, if the door, yeah. If the
And then
door's
take
open,
that
The
door
door will be
there
Yeah.
and just label that hers. And then that way,
Tommy still got a door in, a door out. Even this door can move to here if you want.
Well, I can move this one back down. I can do this one that way.
Yeah.
Cause this kills a desk.
mhm.
Just,
Yeah, so,
I mean, is it more important for you to be close to what's going on up here, or for you to be close to what's going on up here? That's the question. I can't answer it. That's up to you two.
And sometimes they might come in and ask for you, but they might need to go through other steps.
And then you
first.
take this door right here and
go ahead.
That's the most important part of it.
Hey, stop me in.
Well, he was here just a minute ago.
We do that all the time.
Yeah, let me go check.
Do we need to isolate, call it a lobby? If this is gonna be a public lobby
Yeah,
with
this,
people coming
well,
up
see, the
here.
problem is you're gonna have, this is all be public technically.
Sure.
Should,
That's
if
the
we
first thing I noticed.
We- put a door down here, well, we'll go there. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
there's
can,
enough
I can go all the
room.
way across.
Get a,
Or do you put a door right there? It's gonna mess up your counter.
No,
Yeah, I mean, it's all I can do to get that in there, just about.
just a, do we need to isolate that public lobby from the rest of that space, I guess, is my question.
I don't, no, because they're gonna need access to the restrooms. You've got a door here to close that off. I mean, I would assume if somebody's in here and they need to go to the restroom, you're gonna let them go to the restroom.
Well, I would think that controls environment and safety is what I would think that the most for.
But there's, all of these are security entrances coming this way. Anybody's coming in, is gonna be coming in through these doors.
Well, she's talking about this being protected barrier here
Uh-huh.
to get you in.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's nothing to put a wall with a door there.
you can put a glass door or whatever in there with a keypad.
With a
on it,
buzzer?
Staff or a buzzer. Mary Dell can be the gatekeeper of that door.
Well, this poor sucker's.
Well, still, you can move this door to this
Yeah,
area.
maybe if it fits.
That way,
Maybe.
well, just if you could, then both of these offices are behind this door. So, just what they want, they're the ones gotta live in it. I just want the gals to have a bathroom.
They'll get a bathroom.
Thank you, Dwight.
Am I back in your good graces?
And I came back from a terrorism and homeland security seminar today, so
Oh,
I'm
did you?
thinking like all these,
Oh, yeah.
these
Oh, yeah.
things, so.
I'm with you.
Oh, cause the airport.
uh-huh.
Yeah. See anything else?
The insight of what you're gonna have before you is gonna be known when you get there, but based on the environment that you all have been on, it's in the past, since the last relocation, you've been, from my outside looking in, you've been in a very open environment, right? pretty much everybody,
Yeah.
you can see through to where you're sitting sometimes.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
Mhm. And so the public can see in just as well, but,
Yeah, the only way out is, this office and conference room, really, as far as views.
For these.
Well, views, just period,
Views.
out windows. Everything else will be.
That's okay. I really think Tommy's office needs to be back here, Maryville needs to be up here. And I say that from, he doesn't need to be in his office and somebody walk in and can just walk right into his office. They're gonna do that. He's never gonna get anything done. Almost the same thing with her, but more so with him, And I've been in that situation. I understand. Mine was in the front door of this building and everybody came in, 99% of them come in to say hello. Sometimes I wished I was in the closet.
do you like you in that position? Cause you have an ear view of everywhere, of all your departments.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I can have either one.
The only problem is, if we put somebody back here, I can't, this is the only place that door goes. So this room's gotta pretty much stay a big room, 12 by 13, because this is a.
What?
That's the stairs going up, this
Right.
is that's bigger.
I think, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You talking about maybe this room here? So.
Yeah, if I made your office there, so
It could serve as
an
an office and there's some storage and other things too. It don't have to just be my office.
Yeah, it could be future, just wait and see how this works out, but.
I mean, I don't know how much tools you need, because that's 12 by 8.
And you can put tool racks in the end of this thing if you need to, for some stuff.
There's all kind of options to do. All
There is. And that'll have a door. That ain't leaving. The only issue is, do I pull this door out or do I pull that one out?
Mhm.
And I don't have to right now. We can bid it with an extra door
And take it out later.
And I mean, even if you're in the office, you can shut the door and put a file cabinet in front of it. I mean, and if you want to rearrange it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a door there.
And these are solid. They don't have glass now.
And they're fire rated.
They are. They're
Fire rated doors.
Yeah, they're 90 minutes, I think, but they don't have to be 60, but 90 is more common. But my question is, I look at it from a privacy standpoint. You could do the half glass. That way you see who you're fixing to knock out when you go out of them. But I didn't know if you wanted a lot of this stuff going on. I didn't figure my way with somebody looking in through the glass, whoever's in the shop. So if y'all want to change that, I can change the door.
I think I would just leave both these doors there. They can shut them, put something in front of them. That just gives you flexibility to change it later in later years if you have to make more office space.
If you want to move something around, you
With-
can add it.
With that said, would it make more sense to line up those two doors so that it's consistent?
Which one?
So, this one right here.
Yeah,
This
line those
is-
up and then
Yes,
Like this is.
yes. Since this is going to be an office now, I'll definitely line those.
line it up and
Yeah,
then
because if
keep
not,
everything
you
flexible.
kill your desk space.
Right.
Yeah.
But just know, if you come in, if you're behind this, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If not, you can put the door in, but you want those blinds. If you put blinds, they're going to rattle like crazy. So I left it solid. That's what's spec. If you want it different, then
And these doors open out.
can I open that yelling, open whichever way we want to open them. Yeah, there's no,
That would alleviate some dead space in your room.
except if you had, this one's going to open out in this garage.
I know, but there's not gonna be anything there that would hit.
Maybe. Depending on who's backing it in, right?
I don't know, it made more sense to me to swing these out. That way you're not got them encroaching into the space inside the office.
Yeah, it don't matter which way you do then.
But just thought.
Are any of those gonna be egress doors? So they gotta go out.
You got this one and this one's your, we don't
Yeah.
have all of them.
That's your main two.
Yeah, you got this one.
Most of your exterior exit doors always open out on.
You got 75 feet, so it don't, I mean, you're not over that, you're
Right.
6-foot building, so there's no way that I can not.
Right.
There's no way you're not gonna make code. And this does have the, you know, the push panic versus a lever knob for shop doors.
Like the crash bar.
Yeah, it's got the, that's what it's on. It's a storefront, just not.
Allen wrench in your pocket.
Mary Dell,
One thing you can do.
Take on an
for
office, which
space
one do
in
you
these
want?
offices, if you offset these doors with a 1 foot space here or something, you can put 1 foot shelves on that wall behind the door. If the door is just opening into it, you can't put anything behind it.
Correct, you lose that space.
So, you know, if you moved them up so that you had at least a foot from the wall on all these, that gives you the option to put some shelves in behind the door.
Yeah, I was getting them as close as I could due to the fact of a desk and chairs being.
Right. So either way, I mean, either have them as very close as they can be, or at least allow a foot space in there so you can put some shelves in behind them. Even 8-inch shelves like these are, I mean, that's a lot of space. If you had a door that opens, you still got a lot of, you know, useful space in behind the door. But where it's like this one, where it opens into the wall, you can't put anything behind it. And in an office setting, shelves are almost as important as desktops for books and papers and color cutters.
Looks great. Good
It
job.
does, it does. I thought we had it. Thought we had it.
We do. All you have to do is make 1 or 2 little changes.
Just erase a few lines and you're all
It's all in the
done.
computer, one minor changes every sheet.
Changes in a CAD in 15 minutes. Look at it.
Hey, we're on our 5th self-serve fuel.
I don't know what I'm
card
doing.
right now.
Did they get Lebanon also for?
I had to.
As far as how you come to it?
What?
Did they get y'all as far as how that our planes actually come into the? That's what they did with that.
Yeah.
You know, the way tomorrow. That's when they moved the taxiway.
Uh-oh.
Because they had you coming straight in, they did not like that.
Yeah, we
They're
have one
working
straight
the-
in and we
Oh.
have one 45,
Yeah,
so
did a fine job.
Let's see.
Did a fine job.
we're hanging on. But we're running about 33,000. 30, no, we're getting,
Y'all good?
we get 43,000.
See y'all guys.
Yeah,
I'll
So,
get
feel like we're about to hit Nashville's numbers.
They gonna, well, if Nashville goes to B, is that gonna get in y'all's envelope? Oh, man. See you, Mayor.
See ya.
Hey, what now?